Hey guys, what is going on? Today we're checking out SCP Explained, a modern introduction to the SCP Foundation. Now a lot of people want me to check this out. When I asked for a different series other than Warhammer, this was literally the top suggestion. This and Red vs Blue and Confinement, but Confinement is SCP, so yeah. Someone told me I should watch this introduction before we react to Confinement, so yeah, today we're gonna react to this introduction. Some people have told me there's not much lore and it's hard to understand, and it's also like horror Reddit, so you know, why not? This should be fun. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, of course. Suggest me any videos you want to see in the comments below, and whatever else I usually say, just remember that and let's go. I'm not too sure what to expect from this, to be honest.
So, you stumbled upon or heard about a thing called SCP, and you're wondering what it's all about. This guide has all the information you need to know about what the SCP Foundation is and what it has to offer you. Think of it as the ultimate primer to the universe, and the wiki as it is and should be seen today. This guide is split up into 3 sections, and they are as follows. Number 1, the basics. An introduction to the SCP Foundation and wiki, covering the SCP format, object classes, in-universe lore about the Foundation, and important vocabulary, and why it all matters. Number 2, in-universe elements. This covers some background information and a lot of commonly used terms that might leave a new reader lost or confused. Number 3, things to read and do. A tour of the entire SCP universe, covering all modes of writing and different kinds of pieces that you can read. From -Js to EXs, 001 proposals to groups of interest, tales, and canons. There's a lot more than just the SCP series. Okay, let's get started. The basics.
You see, I know there is stuff like this for Warhammer, but I probably should have started off when I started reacting to Warhammer. I should have gone straight for this, because I don't know, man. If you guys haven't seen my Warhammer journey, as I like to call it, the Warhammer playlist, I started off with Astartes, which I really shouldn't have. And then I just started reacting to more stuff instead of going for an introduction. I think it took me like 5, 6, 7 videos before I actually done an introduction to Warhammer. So yeah, it's probably the better way to go about it.
Operating clandestine and worldwide, the Foundation operates beyond jurisdiction, empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena. These anomalies pose a significant threat to global security by threatening either physical or psychological harm. Introduction. The SCP Foundation is a collaborative writing platform centering around a fictional foundation, a scientific and military organization that seeks to protect humanity and the status quo by locating and containing anomalies, objects, life forms, events, locations, concepts, creations, and phenomena that, in one way or another, violate natural law.
Okay, so Foundation, right? So it's like it's like the X-Men. No, well, not like the X-Men, because the X-Men, well, technically, because they find mutants and then they put them in the house, right? Professor X's house. But this seems more like well, it says run by the military. It seems more like a prison for these mutants or creations, phenomena, all of that. It seems like these things get put in like a prison where they can be kept away from the public. So, you know, that's kind of fucked up, but, you know, let's move on.
On the SCP Wiki, authors tell stories and explore ideas within this urban fantasy science fiction universe, creating rich pieces of writing that take place in a world where the anomalous exists and how people and organizations interact with them. These articles may showcase the different types of phenomena that might exist in this universe, the SCPs themselves, or tell compelling narratives about life and interactions within the SCP world, tales, canons, and groups of interest formats. The central focus of the SCP Wiki is the SCP file, commonly referred to as just an SCP. It is a set of in-universe technical documentation supposedly compiled by the Foundation in an effort to understand, analyze, experiment with, and most importantly, contain the anomaly. The SCP file is, in effect, a form of constrained writing, an immersive way to tell a story about the nature and history of an anomalous object or entity, whether directly or by hinting at some greater idea.
So an SCP is a file on one of these things that they capture or lock up, and it's trying to understand it and see what it is. That's what SCP is. It's just a file. That's fucked up, bro. Like, I don't know what kind of creatures they have, but if it's basically a horror thing and they have all kinds of weird fucking creatures from like the horror scene, right? I'm not involved in trying to capture those. Like, nah. Or if it's like X-Men, I'm not involved with those like rogue mutants, bro. I wouldn't work for the SCP.
Each SCP is given a unique serial number or designation. And on the wiki, you can browse SCPs with designations ranging from 1 to 3,999. They are organized into 4 numerical series. Series 1, SCP-1 through to 999. Series 1 was written from 2007 to 2011.
Hold on, so does this mean there's 4,000 SCPs in the entire series? There's only 4,000 of these events / creatures / whatever.
Series 2, SCP-1000 through to SCP-1999. Series 2 was written from 2011 to 2013. Series 3, SCP-2000 through to SCP-2999. Series 3 was written from 2013 to 2017. And Series 4, SCP-3000...
He really doesn't need to read them all out.
...through to SCP-3999. This series is still being written, but it started in 2017. The SCP format. An SCP file has a very specific format that, in general, must be strictly adhered to. SCPs are the backbone of the entire franchise. These documents are the set pieces of the universe, showcasing its tone, stories, and possibilities. The basic format of an SCP is as follows. Item number, SCP hyphen, then the number. Object class, then a category name. Special containment procedures, then a detailed summary of all specific means needed to make sure the anomaly is safely contained. Description, then a technically written documentation of all things that the anomaly is, does, and can do. And finally, supplements, optional additional files added onto the base document. Each SCP is given an object class based on the degree of containment difficulty. Here are the primary object classes. Safe. The anomaly can be contained by simply leaving it alone. No special procedures, methods, or events are necessary to keep it from damaging the world. This does not necessarily mean it's not dangerous. A safe class object can be world-threatening if not contained, but it's just really easy to contain them.
So it is like a prison then, right? You have all of the different categories, so probably you have safe as the easiest, which would be like the bottommost free level of a prison, right? Where you can roam around and you don't really have too much. You're not really considered a danger and you have a bit more freedom. And then it goes up, I think, it's in UK, does it go from A class to D class? And D class is basically the safe. And then as it goes up, you get more confined, I guess. You get more, as you go up, you get less freedom, you're put under much higher security, bro. I'm assuming the highest class here, you're just locked up and you've got guards and all kinds of permanent people watching you, shit like that.
Some notable examples of safe class SCPs are SCP-1981, SCP-2579, SCP-993, SCP-1425, and SCP-3039.
Hold on. Why is the bear an SCP? And is that Ronald Reagan? And just a clown, star signals, and books. Alright, now I'm officially confused.
All examples will be in the video description.
Okay.
Next, Euclid. The anomaly is inherently unpredictable or requires some amount of special effort to be contained. You're not quite sure what will happen if you leave it alone, and it might be a little bit more complex than a safe class entity, object, or phenomenon. Some notable examples of Euclid class SCPs are SCP-3008,
IKEA,
SCP-426, SCP-1171, SCP-3001, and SCP-1609.
Why is IKEA an SCP? I know I've looked through the confinement. Like, I haven't watched it, but I looked through the confinement. I know one of the episodes is titled IKEA something, but still, what? I'm assuming there's something that goes on in IKEA. I'm assuming this chair's like cursed or something. I'm not sure why there's a toaster. This house, it must be something wrong with the house. And then you've got a wormhole or whatever the fuck that is.
And finally, Keter.
Keter.
These SCPs are really difficult to contain, requiring a huge expenditure of resources or extensively complex containment procedures. The most dangerous of phenomena are classed as Keter, often, but not always, posing an existential threat to humanity, the world, or universal structure itself. Some notable examples of Keter-class SCPs are SCP-1739, SCP-231, SCP-2935, SCP-2293, and SCP-3200.
Alright, a Dell laptop. Maybe it's a laptop that speaks to you or something, I don't know. You've got some text. That looks a cave. That looks like a Mercedes-Benz logo in there, to be honest. I can't really see what the fuck is in there. And then, like, it looks like a something circle. What does that say in there? I can't read the letters in there, but... Okay, so... SCPs aren't just people and creatures, they're objects. He did say that. It is kind of like the mutant prison in X-Men, right? Like the latest X-Men. No, Deadpool is the one I'm thinking of. Deadpool 2, where the boy is the bad guy, and Juggernaut is put under like special security, right? He would be like this, I guess.
In addition, there are a number of esoteric and secondary classes that are used much less than the big three that I just mentioned, but still serve important purposes. Thaumiel. This is a very rare object class only known to the highest levels of the Foundation. In essence, Thaumiel class objects are anti-Keter. They are used in the containment or counteracting of other SCPs. They act as powerful tools to be used by the Foundation, which normally rarely uses anomalies. Some notable examples of Thaumiel class SCPs are SCP-2000, SCP-2003, SCP-3000, SCP-179, and SCP-3031.
So these are used to contain the highest threat ones, right? That he said before this. So these can be used against them to kind of keep them in check, right? I'm not too sure what that is. That looks like a beanstalk eating someone, a brain, a city, a skyline, and a road. All right.
And finally, neutralized. It used to be anomalous, now it's not. Maybe it just stopped working on its own. Maybe someone accidentally or purposefully destroyed it. Either way, it no longer has functional anomalous properties. Some notable examples of neutralized class SCPs are SCP-1470.
Neutralized. They killed the spider and the dog. It's a bit rude. The plant, I'm not too sure. That looks like origami, bro. And the brain, is it the same brain as the last part?
SCP-2682, SCP-3519, SCP-1762, and SCP-2420. If you want to stop watching this guide now and start diving into the wiki, this is a good time to do so. But be sure to finish this guide if you're unsure of anything. Maybe you can pick one from the links from the description and then follow the cross-links and navigation in the article. Maybe you can go to a series page. I highly recommend series 2 and 3, and just click on one with an intriguing title. Or you could roll the dice and press random SCP. One of the best ways to learn about the Foundation is to discover for yourself all the genres, emotions, and ideas it can evoke, to keep that sense of mystery and gritty realism.
Should we go and click on a link, bro? Fuck it, I'm opening this one. Oh, this is a... Hold on, bro, what the fuck? Fuck it, series 1. And I'm gonna pick... Zombie Plague, that sounds fun. What do you mean? That's fucked up. I can't look at this. Oh, here we go. They actually have things blanked out, bro. That's cool. It is a liter of substance that Alright, buddy. Well, I'll look at this shit later. That's kind of cool. Let's finish this tutorial, bro. No, this introduction.
There's still a lot to learn about the culture and vocabulary and universe of the site. You can find out and learn by yourself just by reading as much as you can. Playing it by ear, it's pretty fun that way. Or if you'd like to get a better handle on everything that's going on and a few more ways to drop you into the community, stay tuned. I still have a lot to show you. Next up, in-universe elements.
If you guys want me to go onto the wiki or whatever and look at some of those, maybe we can, you know?
Foundation structure and protocol. Security clearance represents how much information about an object you're allowed to know. If you've read through an SCP or two, you're bound to have seen these. Data expunged, redacted, or the text completely blacked out. These key
Well, I just did go and click on one and I found one that I couldn't read anything on and I needed more security clearance for, so there you go.
words are common hallmarks and tools of narrative of the SCP Wiki, signifying that the information has been classified to a higher clearance or has been cleansed completely. It adds an element of horror through absence that is classic to the SCP fandom. For a great example of how security clearance levels can be used, read SCP-2317. There are also many types of workers in the Foundation. Among them, we have containment specialists, researchers, and security tactical response officers. There are field agents, who are out in the world undercover, looking for signs of anomalous activity, and mobile task forces, special units that are assigned to carry out certain dangerous jobs.
So containment specialist is obviously people who specialize in containing these things. Research are the people who research it. Security and tactical response officers, who would probably be like security guards that are at their facility. Field agents, he said, are undercover agents that just roam around the world. Mobile task forces, obviously a squad that goes to capture them or some shit. If you had to pick a job, which one would it be? Which one would it be? I feel like task forces would get whacked, because you never know what the fuck you're going to be fighting or trying to capture, and you can't kill it. So you're going to be at a disadvantage. So being a task force or a security officer, I feel like I'd be dying. Researcher, okay, you probably don't have to come face to face with any of them. Containment specialist, if you have to come face to face, it's probably not great. Field agent, though, you're just undercover. You're not really having to do anything, so maybe that would be the best.
The task forces document contains a list of mobile task forces along with their associated SCPs. The Foundation is usually thought of as a far-reaching organization, and so their bases are found across the globe, and sometimes outside of it. These bases can be sites or areas. For more information, read Secure Facilities Locations. The leaders of individual areas or sites are high-ranking Level 4 researchers known as Site Directors. There are
Well, when I clicked on the zombie plague, I needed to be this. So, you know.
few in the Foundation that rank higher than Site Director, and they are the O5 Council, the ultimate leaders of the entire Foundation. The Overseer Council, abbreviated to O5, is a group of 13 people who manage all Foundation operations worldwide and have complete access to all information.
That'd be cool.
Redacted or not. Their identities are classified for safety, and they are only referred to by their ID, O51 through 13. In addition, some versions of canon also include the existence of an administrator, the creator of the Foundation. Finally, one of the most interesting parts of the Foundation are D-Class personnel, or Class Ds. The canon around D-Class personnel helps showcase the colder and more morally gray side of the Foundation. In order to experiment with and contain SCPs, the Foundation needs lab rats to test things with, the D-Class. Oftentimes, they are recruited from death row or the prison population, serving as expendable personnel that are used to handle hazardous anomalies. In the early days of the site, a common headcanon was that all D-Class were executed at the end of the month. However, this idea has gone out of fashion as the site has evolved. For more interesting stories about Class D personnel, try reading entries from the D-Class contest.
That's fucked. But I could see that actually happening in real life. People just selling off prisoners to be used as experiments, so I'm sure it's happened before.
Terms to know. The SCP Wiki has created a wide set of terminology and new innovations, inventing concepts that are unique to the premise of the site and found nearly nowhere else in literature. You may want to know these terms before you dive in. Anomalous classifications. Memetic, or meme. A meme is any unit of information that can spread and transfer itself throughout society. Memetic effects deal with how the brain understands and reacts to media. It is a piece of data in the subject's mind that has an anomalous effect on that subject's physical or mental state that is spread when someone else becomes aware of the same information. In particular, anomalous memetic agents are bits of hazardous information that are like a mental virus, triggering anomalous reactions in people who are exposed to them. Anti-memetic or anti-meme. An anti-meme is the opposite of a meme. It has self-censoring properties. Anomalous anti-memes are perfectly mentally camouflaged, whether by making you unable to hold your perception of one in your short-term memory or making you unable to comprehend the concept of its existence. Cognitohazard. A cognitohazard is something that is dangerous when we perceive it with one of the 5 senses. For example, a sound that causes you to bleed from every pore, or a smell that causes you to go insane. All memetic effects are a subset of cognitohazards.
That's fucked. I ain't about bleeding out of any orifice in my face or anywhere, so hopefully there is no sounds like that.
As in order to process the information, you have to sense it. Infohazard. Infohazards are anomalous effects that trigger when the SCP is described, referred to, or acknowledged. You don't even have to sense the thing to be affected by an infohazard. You just have to know that it exists.
That's crazy.
It affects data written about the anomaly and people that are made aware of the existence of the effect.
That's fucked, bro. That's fucked. Like, just imagine you know this thing exists and it's in your head, bro. And it just causes problems because you just know it exists. That is so fucked up.
Ontokinetic, or reality bender. An ontokinetic being can manipulate the laws of reality, magic, through anomalous means.
Magic.
Groups of interest contain and study reality benders, often in unethical ways, creating some moral crises for the Foundation. Anart, or an artist. Anart is short for anomalous art. Many people and groups aware of the existence of reality-breaking phenomena choose to explore it by creating often surrealist art with extra-normal properties, these people being called anartists. Narrativic, or pataphysical. A narrativic anomaly manifests itself within works of fiction, often affecting the content of the work involved by creating characters, changing the setting, or blurring the line between fiction and the reality. The pataphorical or pataphysical SCP explores narrativic anomalies using the wiki itself as the narrative. It explores the idea of characters we write on the website attempting to communicate and manipulate us, and being aware of things on the website like author pages, deletions, and discussion forums. Technology and engineering. Scranton Reality Anchor. Scranton Reality Anchors are technological devices used by the Foundation to essentially regulate consensus reality. They cancel out or prevent the effects of reality-bending entities and anchor down areas where the level of unreality is higher or lower than normal, counterbending it so that it matches the reality that we know and inhabit. Many contemporary authors have criticized the widespread use of SRAs as a catch-all for containing any type of structural or ontokinetic effect. Telekill.
Hey man, you have to stop that. You don't want to be living in some bent-ass reality that's controlled by one of these SCPs, dude.
The SRA, back in the old days.
Telekill.
Except the problem was worse. In its original form, it was a metal that blocked all mind-affecting or compulsive effects. People went crazy over it and started using it in all their containment procedures, and mistakenly thought it also blocked memetic effects. Scranton's rewrite of the article added some nuances and drawbacks to it, and its usage had fallen by the wayside anyway, as people have become more innovative with writing. Humes, a unit of measurement that measures the intensity of reality present in an area, crucial to understanding how SRAs and other technologies work. They are useful in quantifying how powerful reality-bending effects are relative to each other. K-class scenario, a term used to classify possible apocalypse scenarios, which the Foundation deals with on a daily basis when discussing the possible outcomes of dangerous effects or entities. The most common type is XK class, which describes a conventional destruction of the planet scenario. There are multiple minor ones whose exact definitions in canon are being argued over, including CK class, the restructuring of a reality, AK class, humanity goes crazy, SK class, the dominant species on Earth is no longer humans, and ZK class, reality universal failure. Amnestic, mind wipe drugs, a narrative tool used by authors to explain A, how the Foundation is able to keep the masquerade of secrecy, and B, to create stories dealing with memory and knowledge. In universe, these are simply chemicals that erase a normal human's memory of some amount of time. When the Foundation has to recover an anomaly in the real world, or seriously messes up, these are used.
Hey man, that makes sense. For their own safety, and for, as long as you don't know about them, it might be able to take that thing of that information. A thing where if you just know about them, they can affect you. That deals with that. Plus, maybe you just don't want people knowing that that thing exists, bro.
Things to read and do. There's more to the wiki than the SCP series. In this section, I open the door to the other areas of the site that are part of the Foundation universe, as well as answer some common questions about key but confusing parts of the site. What is SCP-1? In the early days of the site, when the wiki was just getting started, there was some debate over what should be this sacred number. 1. Everyone agreed that it had to be incredibly written. Everyone agreed that it had to be big, something deserving of the very first spot. But nobody could agree who should do the honor of writing it. The answer? Everyone can write their own vision of SCP-1. Thus, the system of proposals, an author's individual idea of number 1. They vary wildly and contradict each other. On the number 1 hub page, it says that the, quote, real number 1 is so secret that a number of false ones have been created. This explanation allows there to be multiple self-contradictory number 1s. One of them could be the true one to you. Or maybe you want a couple to be canonical at the same time. Maybe all of them are fake. Maybe all of them are true. It all depends on your canon and how much you like a given proposal. In effect, SCP-1 proposals are canon builders. Each one sets the tone for a particular author's vision of the Foundation itself. Creating an SCP-1 proposal is as easy as writing it and then submitting it just like any other SCP. Although, unless you're incredibly experienced, it will most likely get rejected by the community and deleted. As of November 2017, 19 SCP-1 proposals have been successfully posted. Each one is the product of a lot of work and a high concept. Here are 6 of the 19.
That's crazy. So I bet there's been thousands of people that have actually written one of those, and only 19 made it.
Number 1. Dr. Clef's proposal. The Foundation was established to prepare humanity for the rapture or apocalypse. SCP-1 is the angel guarding Eden.
Okay, buddy.
Number 2. Dr. Mann's proposal. The first and only natural anomaly was a spiral path in New York. A group of ambitious scientists experimented with reality using this as the thread and created every single other anomaly in the database.
I like both of those, because this is trying to set up where the others came from. So SCP-1 is the angel protecting against the apocalypse. Alright. More of a religious standpoint. This guy saying science experimented with a path and created everything else. I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on that one.
Number 3. S. Andrew Swan's proposal. The SCP Foundation is aware of its fictionality. They are currently discussing ways to kill their authors. Number 4. Rojit's proposal. Keter-class anomalies are an inherent part of the universe and can be contained using each other. By releasing all Keter-class anomalies, the universe can be manually restructured. Number 5. Twisted Gear's Cactus proposal. SCP-1 is one manifestation of the mechanical god worshipped by a clockwork cult, which wreaked havoc on the world before the military destroyed it.
This sounds like something like a Warhammer. Mechanical god, the Omnisire.
And finally, number 6. Kaladin's proposal. Humanity was originally a slave race whose suffering was harvested to create utopia on another planet. We escaped and then tried to cloak ourselves. The cloak failed, and our masters are trying to bring us home. It's my personal suggestion that you don't start with SCP-1. The proposals are usually quite complex and require some knowledge of Foundation lore, which is...
You know, of all of those ones you read, I feel like it gets more and more unlikely the further you go along. I like the first two the best, I think. Which one do you guys think is the best of those?
Either played with, expanded on, or subverted. Read conventional SCPs before you take the number 1 deep dive. Special classifications -EX, -J, and -ARC. There are other types of documents that use the basic SCP format and style, but utilized in a different way. This allows different stories with more diverse tones and themes to be told. The SCP-EX classification designates an SCP that is no longer considered anomalous. It is explained. The object or phenomenon in question still exists, but the Foundation has deemed it to be an acceptable part of consensus reality. Or it was a giant fake-out, or it turned out to be just a new scientific discovery. An SCP...
So -EX, not harmful at all.
-J is a joke SCP. A parody SCP, in a sense. Joke SCPs are explicitly non-canon, using the SCP format to joke around or make fun of something for the benefit of the reader. They may riff on in-universe tropes, like overwrought security, over-the-top containment, cold posting, or bad original characters. Or they may parody things like food poisoning, bad drivers, easily angered people, or that one movie. They may even make fun of the elements in the other popular SCP canons. Ultimately, a joke SCP is just a way to make the reader laugh. If a joke SCP is not well written and very funny, it'll be downvoted. And finally, we have SCP-ARC, archived SCPs. These are usually legacy pages from the very old days of the site, when standards were low and the mass edit had not been conducted yet. While most of these SCPs were deleted, some of them needed to have text archives due to their usage in other tales or still existing SCPs, or because they were historically important. ARCing is no longer in use since the opening of Series 2, 3, and 4, and you will most likely never need to read one of these. Tales, canons, and collaborative logs. Tales are how the Foundation universe gets deepened and extended beyond the limits of the simple SCP file. It allows authors to tell stories where groups or people can interact with each other in the SCP universe, to expand on ideas already created in SCPs, or just, to write a prose. Some authors may also turn their tales into a series, usually if they have a cohesive idea in mind, or if it gets really popular.
So a tale is just like a story about one of the SCPs, right? So you take one of the SCPs, whatever it is, object, creature, whatever, and then you write stories with it in, and then it kind of becomes a tale, right? Okay. So I'm assuming confinement would be a tale then.
Notable series include There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, The Cool War, The Lombardi Tales, Tales of Mr. Collector, and Pitch Haven. You can find Tales in the top-rated Tales archive as submissions to a themed contest or by trawling around and finding recommendations. You can also, as we'll soon learn, read the tales in a canon. A canon is your own set of assumptions about the tone, setting, and dynamic of the universe. Each of the canons in the Canon Hub is a wildly different set of assumptions based off the baseline SCP Foundation. Think of them as mega tale hubs, or parallel universes, or self-contained cinematic universes for authors to play in. Here are 5 notable canons. Broken Masquerade, a world where the Foundation's existence is known by everyone. Resurrection, a deliberate attempt to resurrect the action-orientated SCP Dr. Crazy Days of Series 1, in which an MTF composed of anomalous humans is formed. Third Law, a pulpy sci-fi paratech world dominated by the machinations of Prometheus Labs and Anderson Robotics. Rat's Nest, the military killed God, and the Foundation is covering it up. Reality is slowly unraveling and falling apart.
That's just fucked up. What is that one? So these canons are basically like a universe, right? So like a Marvel universe, right? Like a Marvel, or a DC universe, and then you could have a parallel universe with all the same people in it, but it just has different things. Okay, I think I get it.
The Gulf, small-scale poignant series set in the southern United States, usually having a restful, mysterious feel, and featuring religious symbolism and unconventional types of media. A number of pages on the site are tagged as collaborative. Collaborative logs or pages can be edited and added to by anyone, although some quality oversight still exists. This is a good way to get your creative chops and contribute whilst not taking the plunge of writing an SCP. The 3 main collaborative pages exist as lists of mini SCPs, very small-scale items or phenomena that don't need to have a narrative, but still need to be unique, appropriate, and interesting. They are Log of Anomalous Items. The SCP Foundation has discovered a substantial number of items which are simply too useless to merit further attention. This document lists those items which have prompted some curiosity. Log of Extranormal Events. This page is to document anomalous events that have attracted the Foundation's interests, but occurred too briefly for the Foundation to secure or contain them. And finally, Log of Unexplained Locations. This page is to be devoted to the documentation of low-threat anomalous locations which have been discovered by the SCP Foundation over the years. There are a number of other collaborative pages, usually SCP supplements or logs. Keep in mind that guidelines for contributions still apply though, and if your edition is deemed to be below standard, it'll probably be removed. Groups of interest. The Foundation isn't the only fish in the anomalous sea. Other organizations, collective, and groups exist that utilize or create paranormal phenomena for their own purposes. Some are associates of the Foundation, others are rivals to it. Many of them quietly pursue their own interests, while a great many of them fall on the lines of good and or evil. The vast majority simply have a goal in mind that's somewhere in between. Here are 7 notable groups of interest. Are We Cool Yet? A collection of artists, usually producing surreal and disturbing works of art. Their pieces are designed to have maximum impact and are usually lethal in some way. The Chaos Insurgency. A rogue cell
I'm not about paintings that kill you, so that's a sticky one.
Of the Foundation that uses terrorist means to steal and repurpose powerful anomalies to gain control over nations and conduct unethical experiments using them.
Terrorism. There just had to be terrorism. Anything that involves military, go out there and put a bit of terrorism in there, just in case.
The Church of the Broken God.
Here we go.
A widespread cult believing in a clockwork god who is broken into pieces all over the world. Dr. Wondertainment. An individual or company that makes anomalous artifacts that are supposed to be children's toys.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up, bro. I mean, the clock one's also fucked up. But that, why is he making children's toys that are anomalous, bro? Creep.
Serpent's Hand. a small organization headquartered in an interdimensional library, believing in anomalous rights and the normalization of the paranormal and magical. Marshall Carter.
Interdimensional library. Is it the Black Library from Warhammer?
And Dark. A corporation that buys and sells anomalous items for the benefit of the super rich.
Okay. So the black market of SCPs.
Global Occult Coalition, or the GOC. A massive military organization under control of the UN, using technology and force to destroy the extra-normal wherever they find it. Many groups also have their own form of documentation, similar to an SCP. On the Wiki, they are called GOI formats, and they are stories told from a different perspective than the Foundation. For more information, visit the Groups of Interest page, as well as the ongoing Groups of Interest overview and guide on the SCP.
Clearance now on at John Lewis and Partners. More of what you love.
Declassified subreddit. Beyond the main site. You can find stories and SCPs to read even beyond the classifications and places I've already detailed. In this final section, I present other outlets of writing associated or tied to the SCP Wiki that you can also look into. Firstly, a great place for you to discover lesser known but very well written tales and SCPs are in the contest archive. For example, SCP-1000, 2000, and 3000 contests all have SCPs themed around urban legends, sci-fi, and horror, respectively. You have the Short Works contest, and the D-Class contest mentioned earlier, and the History contest for both tales and SCPs. Then there are the gigantic, multi-part Mobile Task Force contest and Groups of Interest contest, and then the Dystopia and Reimagining contests, and so forth. There's so much to find. The Wanderer's Library is set in the mysterious, ancient, magical Library of the Serpent's Hand. It includes prose pieces and poetry set in the SCP universe, but focused on evoking a sense of wonder, of the extraordinary and fantastical. Quote, a sense that there is a larger world beyond the one we know. In the world of the library, these wonders are hidden, but never truly far away. But never forget that this is a wilder world than our own, and it's never entirely safe, either. And finally, we have the international foreign SCP branches. There's French SCPs, Russian SCPs, Japanese SCPs, and a whole bunch more. Each brand has their own set of SCPs, many of which have extremely creative and diverse ideas. If you're
To be expected.
looking for more SCPs to read, this might be a place to find cool concepts. And if you don't know a foreign language, the main SCP-INT Wiki Hub has translations of some of them. This was entirely written by Reddit user Modulum83 over on the SCP Declassified subreddit. All links will be in the description.
Shout out to Modulum83.
If you enjoyed it, give Modulum83 some praise in the comments section for writing something I couldn't write myself. I hope it answered most of your questions about who we are and what we do, and that it convinced you to take a dive and become part of the universe and the community.
Shout out to Modulum and shout out to the Volgun for this video, bro. Let's see what other... I'm interested in see what other videos the Volgun
Holidays
does.
are my...
Is his channel just dedicated to SCP? Yeah, it is. So he has a lot of videos actually about SCPs and stuff. So I'm assuming if as long as he doesn't copyright the shit, if you guys want me to react to more of his stuff, we can. Some of these look fucked up, bro. Alright, shout out to the Volgun. Okay, so what did I think of that? I mean, it was a great video, and shout out to the guy who wrote it on Reddit and the Volgun for putting it on YouTube. It's a nice introduction. Obviously the SCP universe isn't something that has a lot of set in stone lore that you have to abide by, like for example Warhammer, which the lore is pretty ironclad. There is obviously bits open to interpretation in Warhammer, but with this it seems like most of it is open to interpretation, and you can really just write your own lore, and the SCP universe is what it is to you. You could pick one of the SCPs and just go off and write a whole series if you really wanted to, which is really cool. It's obviously a massive universe. I doubt you could ever know everything. I mean, with over 4,000 SCPs, like Jesus Christ. I don't know how you would be able to know each one. It's actually very interesting. Obviously, it's going to take me a while to remember all of the stuff he said in there and what everything means. If you want me to check out more videos from him, I'll be happy to, just provided it doesn't get copyrighted, of course. If he doesn't like people reacting to his stuff, I don't want to react to it, of course. So, man, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, man. If you enjoyed this universe, man, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.